Welcome to the deep dive. Even if you think you know the Mahabharata inside out, there's often more beneath the surface than that classic good versus evil story.
That's so true. It's like, what if it's actually this intricate web of, well, shocking secrets, deep moral questions, and maybe even hints of advanced ancient knowledge?
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we're going way beyond the usual stories.
Yeah, we've gathered quite a few different sources to try and peel back those hidden layers. We want to look at the surprising choices, the, hidden reasons behind actions, and the destinies of some key figures.
And how it all might connect to us today, maybe.
Could be. It's really about rethinking what we thought we knew.
Okay, let's start with something fundamental. The sheer weight of hidden pasts and personal choices. Karna is maybe the perfect example here.
Oh, absolutely. Karna's story is just tragic from the get-go. His birth itself was a huge secret.
Right, Kunti being an unwed mother, the fear of scandal.
Exactly. Societal pressure back then was immense, and the sources say the sun god Surya actually gave her the baby already wearing his divine armor, the kavash and earrings, the kundal.
And then she makes that heart-wrenching decision to put him in a basket on the river.
A decision driven entirely by fear and societal norms. Yeah. It sets the entire course of his life.
And his rivalry with Arjuna feels almost fated, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Was there more to it than just skill and circumstance?
Some sources definitely suggest a deeper, almost predestined element. They mention Karna having a past life as an asura named Sahas-Kavachasur.
Sahas-Kavachasur, wow.
Yeah, and his destined opponent was Nar, who was actually Arjuna in a previous incarnation. So that conflict was, you could say, written in the stars long before they met.
And on top of that, he had all those curses working against him.
It's relentless, isn't it? You've got the curse from Parashuram, his knowledge, failing him right when he needs it most. Then the Brahmin's curse, predicting he'd die helpless like a cow. And famously, Mother Earth cursing his chariot wheel to get stuck.
How did all that, plus the Sutputra label, shape him? Because he was constantly reminded of his supposedly low birth.
It must have been incredibly isolating. Figures like Dronacharya, Kripacharya, they publicly shamed him for being a charioteer's son. So when Duryodhana steps in, shows him respect, even makes him the king of Aang, that creates an unbreakable bond, fierce loyalty.
Which raises questions, right? Was that loyalty a virtue, or did it blind him? It makes you think about belonging and acceptance.
Definitely. But it's complex because, as you mentioned, his actions weren't always easy to defend. Applauding during Draupadi's disrobing.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And the way he participated in killing Abhimanyu unfairly. He's such a mix of victim and, well, perpetrator.
Trapped between destiny and his own choices, exactly. And speaking of complex figures shaped by the past, Kunti, his birth mother, she carried enormous burdens too, often hidden.
Her life wasn't easy either, right from the start, given away for adoption.
Yeah, from King Shursena to King Kuntipuja, her name even changed, from Pritha to Kunti. It signifies that displacement early on.
And then she receives that powerful boon from sage Durvasa.
The ability to invoke gods and have children, a power that became almost a duty later on, didn't it? She had to use it to continue Pandu's line because of his curse.
But even that power had strings attached, didn't it? Social rules?
Very much so. The sources mention her citing a scriptural limit, basically, that a woman associated with 5 or more men could be shunned. That was her justification for not having more children for Pandu.
It really shows the constraints women faced, even powerful ones.
And her inner life was complicated, too. There's mention of her envy towards Madri, Pandu's other wife, for being the one who got to join Pandu on the funeral pyre. That act of sati seen as ultimate devotion then.
So despite everything, she still ends up blamed for Draupadi's polyandrous marriage because of a simple misunderstanding.
It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? She tells the returning Pandavas to share what they've brought, thinking it's alms.
Not realizing it was Draupadi.
Exactly. And boom, a shared marriage is decreed, and somehow it becomes Kunti's fault in the eyes of many. It just underscores those patriarchal dynamics.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Shakuni. We mostly think of him as the scheming gambler with the loaded dice.
Right, the stereotypical villain. But his motivations are, well, incredibly deep and dark. It's all about revenge.
Revenge against whom specifically?
Against the Kuru clan, especially Dhritarashtra and Bhishma. The backstory is chilling.
I remember something about Gandhari and an astrological issue.
Yes, Gandhari had this Kuja dosha, an astrological curse. To negate it, her family apparently had her marry a goat first. When Dhritarashtra found out, He was furious.
Then he retaliated.
Severely. He imprisoned Gandhari's entire family, her father, her brothers, and systematically starved them. They decided only one should survive, the cleverest one, to carry out their vengeance. That was Shakuni.
Wow. And the dice?
The dice were supposedly fashioned from his own father's bones, a constant physical reminder of his vow to destroy the Kurus.
That's incredibly dark.
And some sources even say he deliberately broke his own leg, another physical reminder of his mission. He's not just a gambler, he's embodied vengeance.
So these hidden pasts and choices set the stage. But then comes the war. And even after the main battle, fate keeps marching on, leading to some truly devastating consequences.
Yeah, the post-war period is almost as brutal. Take Ashwatthama. His fury after his father Drona's death, it's completely unchecked.
He goes on a rampage, doesn't he?
A horrifying one. He finds Drishtadyumna, the man who killed Drona, asleep and just butchers him.
Real.
But it gets worse. Believing he needs to end the Pandava line entirely, he then creeps into their camp and kills their 5 young sons while they sleep.
Decapitates
them.
Thinking they were the Pandavas themselves.
Or just wanting to wipe out the next generation. Either way, it's an act of pure, nightmarish vengeance.
And the consequence for him.
Yeah.
Krishna's curse.
A terrible curse. Eternal life, but afflicted with leprosy, covered in wounds that never heal, doomed to wander the earth forever, alone and tormented. It's presented as a fate worse than death itself, a stock warning about rage.
And curses seem to fly thick and fast after the war. Gandhari, seeing all her sons dead, she curses Krishna.
Yes, in her absolute grief and fury, she blames him for allowing the war, for not stopping it.
What was the curse specifically?
That Krishna's own clan, the Yadavas, would destroy themselves through infighting, just like her sons, the Kauravas, were destroyed, and that Krishna himself would die an inglorious death like an ordinary man through deceit.
How did Krishna react to that?
That's what's fascinating. He accepts it. Calmly. He basically says it's necessary, part of the divine plan, signaling the end of the Dwapara era and the coming of the darker Kali Yuga.
And that curse, it came true, didn't it?
It did, quite dramatically. The Yadava clan descends into drunken chaos at a festival.
And they fight each other?
Yes, using simple blades of grass that, because of another earlier curse involving Krishna's son Samba, miraculously turn into deadly iron weapons. They wipe each other out.
Just as Gandhari predicted. And Krishna's own end.
Also, as foretold, he's meditating in a forest, and a hunter named Jara mistakes his foot sticking out from behind a bush for a deer.
And shoots him with an arrow.
Exactly. Hits him in his heel, his one vulnerable spot, a seemingly ordinary, almost accidental death.
But there's a twist, a karmic echo there too, right?
A huge one. This hunter, Jara, is said to be the reincarnation of Vali.
Vali, the monkey king from the Ramayana.
The very same. Whom Krishna, in his earlier incarnation as Ram, had killed unfairly, shooting him from behind a tree during his fight with Sugriva.
So Krishna's death fulfills a karmic debt from a previous age. It all circles back.
It shows the incredible interconnectedness of actions and consequences across lifetimes in the epic's worldview. It's not just one life, it's cycles.
Okay, so we have these intense human dramas, divine interventions, karma. But then there's this other layer. Potential connections to actual history, even science. What about archaeology?
Well, it's quite compelling. Back in the 1950s, archaeologist B.B. Lal excavated several key sites mentioned in the Mahabharata Hastinapur Kurukshetra.
And what did he find?
He found layers of settlement containing a specific type of pottery called painted grayware. And the dating for this culture, roughly around 1200 BCE, which fits plausibly within the time frame often associated with the epic's events.
So physical evidence linking the places in the story to a specific historical period.
Exactly. It doesn't prove the epic happened exactly as written, of course, but it shows these places have a real ancient history consistent with the narrative.
And wasn't there marine archaeology too? At Dwarka?
Yes. S.R. Rao's work. He explored submerged structures off the coast of modern Dwarka.
Krishna's legendary city, supposedly swallowed by the sea?
Precisely. Rao found submerged fortifications and structures that align with descriptions of Dwarka in the texts, and his findings suggested sea levels were about 10 meters lower around the 1st century BCE, making a coastal city's submergence feasible.
Fascinating. It adds a layer of potential historicity, but then you get into interpretations that sound almost like science fiction, bridging mythology and science.
It's definitely where things get speculative but intriguing. Take the story of Krishna's birth being conceived by Devaki but then mystically transferred to Rohini's womb to save him from Kamsa.
How was that interpreted scientifically?
Some see it as possibly encoding an ancient understanding, or at least a conceptualization of something like embryo transfer or surrogacy, expressing a complex biological idea through a divine narrative.
Interesting way to look at it. And the Vimanas, the flying machines.
Ah, yes, the Vimanas. Descriptions like Ravana's Pushpaka Vimana in the Ramayana, or even crafts mentioned in the Mahabharata, like the Subhaka Vimana used by Krishna's foes. They talk about incredible speed, even sonic booms.
So the idea is maybe this reflects some lost ancient technology, or at least an advanced concept of flight.
Potentially. It's hard to prove, obviously, but the descriptions are detailed enough to make people wonder if it's purely imagination or based on something more.
But perhaps the most startling connection is the one proposed about genetics. Delicious Nilkanth Oak's theory.
Yes, this one really makes you pause. Oak looked at the sheer scale of death described in the Kurukshetra War, millions supposedly killed, overwhelmingly male warriors.
Okay.
He theorized that such a massive loss of male life could have created a genetic bottleneck, significantly impacting human population genetics, especially male lineage diversity.
A measurable impact on our DNA.
That's the hypothesis. And what's really striking is a 2015 study by Monica Carmen and others looking at Y chromosome diversity. They found evidence of a severe bottleneck, a sharp reduction in male genetic diversity happening sometime around 4,000 to 8,000 years ago. Oak connects this to dates derived from the Mahabharata itself, around 55 and 661 BCE, according to his calculations, suggesting the war could be the cause.
Wow. So genetic data possibly reflecting a catastrophic event described in an ancient epic.
It's a compelling correlation, certainly. It suggests the epic might preserve a memory of a real demographic crisis, whether caused by war, famine, or disease on a massive scale.
So we've really journeyed through the Mahabharata today, looking beyond the surface. It's not just a religious text or an ancient story.
Not at all. It's this incredibly complex tapestry of deeply human characters, their flaws, their choices, these sudden twists of fate, and surprisingly, these echoes in history and maybe even science.
And I think the real power lies in those lesser-known aspects, doesn't it? The nuances, the ambiguities.
Absolutely. They force us to look closer, to question simple answers about good and evil, free will and destiny. It shows how these epic stories still mirror our own struggles, our own triumphs, our own complexities as humans.
It definitely makes you think. And if an ancient epic like this can hold such hidden depths, truths that maybe even resonate with modern science, it leads to a final thought, perhaps.
Which is,
well, what other stories, what other myths from around the world might be sitting there, just waiting for us to look past the surface and unlock the deeper wisdom they might hold?